Hey mamas! This video is all about the first trimester. We'll explore some of the things that you might be experiencing, yoga poses that are really great to practice, and yoga poses that you might want to avoid. So as always, check in with your doctor to see what's right for you, and then pull up a chair and let's jump on in.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yoga video, yoga video, yoga video, say okay.
First trimester. First of all, you're here. Wow, congratulations. There's a life growing inside of you. And it's an exciting time, or a scary time, or a hormonal time, or sometimes it's all of those things at the same time. When we find out we're expecting, there can be so many different reactions depending on what's going on in our life. And of course, with the fluctuating hormones that are inside of us, it's totally and completely normal to be joyful one moment and maybe even bawling the next moment. So just know that wherever you are in your first trimester experience and wherever you might kind of feel like you're on an emotional roller coaster, you are in good company during the first trimester. So let's talk emotionally, we'll talk physiologically, things to consider, things to be aware of, and then we'll jump into what that means for you in a yoga context. So, all right, well, we could start physiologically. Physiologically, so much is happening, and the irony is during first trimester, you don't really realize it, or maybe you do, but other people don't realize how much is happening inside of your body. So during first trimester, your hormones are shifting to start building up the uterine wall lining to create a special home for your baby. At the same time, blood flow in general is increasing, and it's specifically increasing to the area of your uterus to support all the life that's being created there. And what this also means is that blood pressure is often lower to just kind of allow for all of that blood flow to happen. So you might even be feeling lightheaded. That's a lot of shifts, a lot of changes to be happening. At the same time, your uterus is growing, it's expanding, and it will start to begin its migration, its path from kind of lower down by near where the pubic bone is, higher up toward your belly button. So as all of these things happen, you might also be experiencing symptoms like nausea and fatigue and morning sickness as your body is literally creating another human being. So it helps just to remind yourself that your body is doing something incredible. And even if it doesn't seem like you have a lot to show for it because you haven't started showing yet, or maybe you haven't had your first ultrasound, so much is going on inside. Now, emotionally, where might you be emotionally? Excited, elated, sad, concerned, maybe doubtful. Am I gonna be a good mom? Or if you already have littles at home, how will I be juggling bringing another life into the world? And all of these things are normal. And all of these things make sense. And all of these are the reasons why I love yoga and I love prenatal yoga, because it's just kind of one big basket of offerings, of tools that, hey, you're having this symptom, we'll try this pose. Or you're feeling kind of flustered and not yourself, well, let's take some quiet time to reconnect. So I'm gonna jump into some poses that you might really enjoy practicing in your first trimester and some poses that might be better to avoid. Generally, you can check out any of the videos that we've released in the prenatal series. If you've never practiced yoga before, or maybe you haven't done much fitness, much exercise, you might enjoy connecting with a teacher in person or scheduling just a one-on-one private lesson to kind of discuss any concerns you have or make sure that you're modifying the practice in a way that's right for you. So, where to jump in? Okay, good poses, what we want to be focusing on in first trimester. Physically, one of the things we like to do is to start to really build that lower body strength. Strong legs and strong pelvic floor. And so some great poses to practice to kind of tap into that like tiger mama inner strength that you know you have are the warrior series. So I explain them pretty like in detail in the different sequences that we do, but there's warrior one, which is kind of like a front lunge. Your hips are facing forward. One knee is bent, one leg is straight, and your arms are extended up to the sky. And if it's okay for your balance, you're looking up. In prenatal yoga, it's always a good idea to practice near a chair or a wall for extra support. Then there's warrior two. Warrior two still has that front knee in a lunge, bent, but in warrior two, our arms are open to the side at shoulder height, and we rotate our hips and our torso to turn toward the side. And then warrior three is a little bit of a trickier one if you haven't practiced yoga before, but in warrior three, we're actually balancing on one leg, keeping our hips squared, one leg behind us, our torso in front of us, and you could even plant your hands again on a wall or on a chair for support. So warrior series are great for absolutely for strength building. What else is good? Let's see, triangle pose, anything that brings balance into the body. In triangle, we're rooting our feet down. One arm is reaching up to the sky, one arm is planted down on our leg. And it's that sense of rooting down through the ground, but also creating space through either side of the torso as we lengthen and reach and even look up toward the sky. So triangle pose is another really great one in first trimester to already welcome in a sense of balance. And let's see, maybe we'll explore one more. What's another good pose for first trimester is tree pose. Oftentimes we kind of we feel thrown off balance as our bodies change. Sometimes I like to say pregnancy, it almost feels like a second puberty. You know, it's like you're a kid, you have your body, you're growing taller, all of a sudden puberty hits. There's all these different changes, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, this is my body? How did that happen? And maybe the reaction is cool, or maybe the reaction is what is going on? But pregnancy can sometimes feel the same way. And even if you've been pregnant before, every pregnancy is so different. And so it kind of invites us into a space of wonder and exploration. But back to the physical postures that we were talking about. So tree pose is a really great one for kind of rediscovering balance. So you can stand near a wall, and tree pose has us balancing on one foot, and our other foot is placed on our ankle, our calf, our thigh. Hands can be at the wall or together at heart center. Again, I'll take you through all this stuff in our prenatal sequences, or you can just try it on your own at home. And in terms of styles, some of the things that are generally more supportive for first trimester are slower styles. So for example, if you don't have any yoga backgrounds at all, you might enjoy a type of yoga called hatha or restorative. Those are a bit more gentle, a bit slower, gives you more time and direction to ease into the practice. Now, conversely, if you've been practicing yoga for a while, you're like a die-hard yogi, you will be able to continue with a more intense practice, just with a few modifications. But even still, we don't want to do anything in the first trimester that might affect the baby's ability to properly implant, to burrow its way into the uterine lining and make itself a home. So things like very intensive sun salutations with jump backs and jump forwards, those are things we generally want to ease off of during the first trimester. Now, some people will say, hey, don't practice yoga at all during the first trimester, because statistically, during the first trimester, there's the highest rate of miscarriage. Depending on, what article you look at or who you ask, the first 10 weeks or sometimes the first 12 weeks can be a pretty precarious time. So if you have a history of miscarriage or just prefer to err on the side of caution, then maybe even just focusing on the breath work elements of yoga, on pranayama, breath work, seated meditations, visualizations to kind of help you connect to yourself and your power, those could be really powerful for you as well. And I'll say just one more thing before transitioning to kind of a few things we want to steer away from in first trimester. First trimester is already the time to let go of our ego. And that's so much easier to say than it is to actually do. But whether you have never practiced yoga before or you've been practicing yoga for years, pregnancy is not the time to intensify your practice. It's the time to just kind of take a step back and create space for reflection and introspection and even wonder at this process that your body is going through, to kind of invite yourself into a space of love rather than trying to pull off some acrobatic feat or trick that maybe you've always dreamed of doing. And on that note, one of the things we don't want to do at any point in pregnancy, including first trimester, is take advantage of any additional flexibility you might be experiencing. So during pregnancy, our body starts to release a hormone called relaxin. Our muscles start to loosen. Our ligaments, our joints start to loosen. Our pelvis, everything is in a space of opening up to accommodate growing baby and growing uterus. And so one of the things we aim for in yoga is balance. And that balance includes a balance between flexibility and stability. So rather than just kind of like splaying into your flexibility, like I can put my leg behind my head for the first time, or maybe I can touch my toes for the first time, depending on where you're at, just kind of be aware to approach everything slowly, easefully, gradually, just to respect the limits of your body so that after pregnancy, you don't find yourself in a situation of having been overstretched or having any structural instabilities in the body. Okay, so last section, poses that we want to avoid. Generally, we want to avoid anything that's going to create constriction in the area of the abdomen. So that means any closed twist, any time that you might be twisting your tummy, for example, toward your thigh, that's a good time to instead take what we call an open twist. So if the class is practicing revolved triangle, you can stick with triangle, keeping that chest nice and open. Or a revolved seated twist, you can practice a nice open twist. Let's see, what else? Inversions. It's generally considered totally fine to practice a little bit of down dog in first trimester, but especially if you haven't been practicing headstand and shoulder stand and full wheel and things like that. Again, the motto of first trimester physically would be let the baby do its job and kind of burrowing its way into the uterine wall, finding itself a home. So we don't want to do anything kind of too dramatic that messes with that. And I'll share just kind of like a few bonus tips. We're going to do a video that's all about symptoms, symptom relief, because God knows we have lots of symptoms we experience so much during pregnancy. So if, for example, you are feeling fatigued, you're just so drained and you're so tired, two poses that are really good for fatigue. One is called reclined butterfly. So you can actually just lean on back. You have your feet together and your knees apart, and you can rest your hands either open on your knees or on your tummy. And that's just a delicious restorative pose. You could even put a little pillow under your head or a bolster under your back to create a sort of ramp, and just chill out there and lean into that fatigue, because when your body tells you that it's tired, again, it's for a reason. Your body is working so hard. Or conversely, let's say you feel that fatigue coming on and you're like, oh, but I just got to get a couple more things done. If you're looking to kind of boost your energy and recharge, you can take a pose called supported camel. That's when you're sitting on your knees, so you're kneeling. You can bring your hands behind your low back and just roll your shoulders back, open your chest, release your head and neck, and it's a nice kind of heart opener position. If you are experiencing, let's see, anxiety. If you're experiencing anxiety, then definitely we want to hook you up with some good breath work. So you could even just sit and focus on an even breath in and an even breath out, or you might enjoy taking something called Ujjayi breath. And Ujjayi breath, maybe we'll do a separate video on that. That's ocean breath. You can think about if your hand was a window or a mirror, let's say, and you wanted to fog up that mirror, you would take a deep breath in And then on the exhale, you'd go, imagining that you're trying to fog up that mirror. So with Ujjayi breath, we have that inhale and kind of an almost constriction of the throat, but we're breathing in and out the nose. So Ujjayi, it might sound a little strange, but it sounds something like, so it's an audible breath in and out, and it does a lot just to calm and center us if we're just kind of feeling concerned or not sure what's up. What else is a good one? Let's see. Fear and doubt. If you're feeling fear and doubt about what's going on, your ability to do this, rock the Warrior series. Warrior 1, Warrior 2, just kind of connecting to that badass mama that you are, reminding yourself that you are totally powerful. And if you're feeling a little bit of morning sickness, of nausea that a lot of us tend to experience, there's different poses that could be supportive for you. One of the ones that I like is called a supported forward bend. So you can take a nice wide stance and just kind of lean forward, resting your hands or resting your forearms on a chair or the wall, and just giving yourself time to center and to breathe. So that's a little sneak peek into first trimester. One more thing to keep in mind, first trimester, it's neither here nor there. Maybe some of you, from the moment you got your pregnancy test back, you announced your pregnancy, awesome, amazing. And others of you are waiting for the whole first trimester to be over before you even share it with your inner circle of friends. So many different people experience first trimester in different ways. And again, some people start to very obviously show. For other people, it kind of just looks like we've been like having the late night munchies and eating some big meals, but prenatal yoga has something for everyone. So whether you're experiencing kind of symptoms of nausea and morning sickness and all that stuff, or you're just looking for that quiet time to center, to bring a little bit of guided imagery and breath into your life, to start connect your life to the baby inside of you, first trimester is a great time to jump into prenatal yoga. So congratulations, enjoy, and if you have any questions, just hit me up in the comments below. Namaste.